We're live from the Nile Avenue. Thank you so much for watching UBC TV Inspiring Uganda. My name is Sharon Chomdisha with Nakakoni Elizabeth on sign language. In our top stories today, President Yoweri Museveni, currently in southwestern Uganda to sensitize wananchi on job and wealth creation programs, has today commissioned. In our headlines today, Museveni launches Mbara roads. Construction of Kampala flyover begins. Rachel Zena impressive in 10,000 meters. US government death penalty move draws criticism. Those were some of the headlines for our top stories today. We're sorry about that. In our top stories today, President Yoweri Museveni, currently in southwestern Uganda to sensitize wananchi on job and wealth creation programs, has today commissioned the newly built roads with Mbara municipality in Ankole sub-region. Now, the roads were constructed under the government of Uganda together with the World Bank through the Urban Support to Municipal Infrastructure Development Project. The project seeks to improve the quality of infrastructure in the new municipalities of the country. Speaking at the ceremony, the president asked the people of Mbara to embrace commercial farming, saying that people's incomes in villages contribute greatly to the development of urban centers. Take a look.
We are in Mbarara municipality, a municipality yet to be a city, at least by 2020. A few meters from where I'm standing, the President of the Republic of Uganda, General Yoweri Museveni, will be launching infrastructure, specifically roads, under the USMIT project. I had a walk around the municipality, but in the look of things, I think the municipal council really has to do something to ensure that the municipal roads are clean.
We are pleased for making our Tamaka Road.
This project of the construction of these main roads in the town, it gives us a picture of, because already our town is growing, and the town cannot grow when the infrastructure is not good. So we are very happy, and actually we welcome the president in our press for commissioning this thing. We shall really enjoy it because now our town is now growing.
Hata ibibi ahikaho movement nebaroza nukorozo okoroza.
President Museveni pitched camp in Ankole sub-region a few days ago, where he continues to preach his gospel on Operation Wealth Creation. Initially, the president had met leaders from Ankole sub-region at Kacheka Stadium. The president later on met journalists where he had an engagement with them, and of course this was intended to sensitize his people about the 4-acre model that can help Ugandans kick poverty out of their lives. In this 4-acre model, the president urges farmers to at least use 1 acre of land for poultry, the other acre of land for animal feeds, the other acre of land for fruits, and the other for coffee. This will at least ensure that the 68% of farmers dealing in subsistence agriculture will shift to commercialized agriculture. The president further discourages the issue of land fragmentation because it reduces on the space of land.
Kanda abanje benita kariki. Nabo cyo bita karike okhabura kwetu no kugira ngo korebi. Nambemwe omwani. Nambibiri ebijuma okukira munonga umucungwa emiyembe n'enanasi. Nambishatu tamu byukuriya. Nambina hingo bunyatsi ogira ente zawo 8 omukishu. Avuga hikemwe wahinga mu bunyatsi nesa kuri sente 8. Azente 8 ntana ka mu 3 buri mwanya. Ishatu biyemwe kama rita 2 nzo ritankaga wanyu 5 wasigaza 5 zo nzo watunda wazongera hamwana wazongera bijuma.
Actually, when we put what the president is always teaching us, if we put it in consideration, we can really, even most especially the youth, we can really develop ourselves. Only that, like in Mbara, really, it is not Operation Restoration is not at the, it has not reached the heights.
The president continues preaching his gospel of Operation Wealth Creation, and we are aware he will be headed to Chigezi, Kasese and Toro sub-region. The president has so far covered the northern and eastern regions, and these include Busoga, Bugisu, Acholi, Lango and West Nile sub-regions. Ivan Kahwa, UBC News, in Mbarara municipality, yet to be a city in 2020.
State Minister for Tourism Godfrey Chiwande-Subi has underscored the need to promote Uganda at local and international level to boost the country's tourism sector. Now, Chiwande decries increased irresponsible and negative publications on social and mainstream media, which he says compromises the country's image. This was during the launch and flag-off of Breathtaking Tour of Uganda in the partnership between Ministry of Tourism and Uganda Broadcasting Corporation. Okurut has a detailed report on this.
In 2017, the travel and tourism industry directly supported 229,000 jobs, translating into 2.4% of total employment. According to a 2018 annual report on tourism, such employment was expected to rise by 4.2% in 2018.
It's for the heat, not to get a sunstroke, not too early at least.
The same report also predicted that by 2028, 349,000 jobs would be created, translating to about 2.4% of total employment.
If you fail to convince a Ugandan about his or her own country, it will be very difficult to convince someone else about a country. So, it's very, very important that our customer number one is the Ugandan. There's no country I've gone to that does so poorly in domestic tourism and they do very well international. No country. Go to Malaysia, go to China, go to whatever country that's doing very well in tourism. The locals really contribute almost 70%.
If only Ugandans could embrace the sector, the country would stand a higher chance of benefiting economically from tourism, including increase in foreign exchange. What needs to be promoted and be distanced from is what Tourism State Minister Godfrey Chiwande highlights.
All countries have their negatives. Sometime I was interacting with one of my colleagues, a minister in one of the countries. He was telling me that you don't know the amount of dead bodies that we pick every day from the aircraft here. They have an airline in that very country. He was telling me the amount of people they pick, people die. But you don't see that in the stories. But it comes to Uganda, it will be the headline the next day.
With assured security in the availability of tourism police among other security agencies, both local and international tourists have nothing to worry about their safety.
Well, we have, as I speak now, we have the standard operating procedures in most of the tourist destination points, and I'm sure these SOPs are doing a great job. Ours to keep vigilant, but also to work with the local communities in terms of getting timely information and how we share it among the agencies.
Perhaps among other factors, this assurance could have attracted Uganda's national broadcaster UBC to join the gospel of promoting tourism in the country.
And be with us on the drive as we go, as we explore our country. For God and my country. Thank you.
This is in partnership between Uganda Broadcasting Corporation and Breathtaking Uganda.
We as Ugandans need to learn to consume our own product, and once we learn to consume our own product, then we can ask the foreigners to come here and bring us the dollars and the pounds and the euros that are required to grow our economy. But primarily, UBC is a natural partner for Breathtaking Uganda and tourism in general.
Uganda currently boasts of various tourism potential sites, including national parks, waterfalls, mountains, and water bodies, among others. Tourism activities include bird watching, gorilla trekking, game drives, whitewater rafting, and mountain climbing. Henry Okurut, UBC.
Get to know each other.
Okay. That was State Minister for Tourism Godfrey Chiwanda urging Ugandans to promote tourism. Now, the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Gender, Labour and Social Development, Pius Bigirimana, has been posted to Judicial Service Commission. He replaces Kagole Chivumbi, who is under investigation by Public Accounts Committee of Parliament and Police over misuse of public funds. The head of Public Service and Secretary to Cabinet, Mr. John Mitala, in a posting instructions to Pius Bigirimana, said the appointing authority has directed that he be transferred from the Ministry of Gender, Labour and Social Development to the Judicial Service Commission with immediate effect. On receipt of this letter, prepare to hand over your office within the existing regulations and report to your new station without delay. John Mitala, the head of Public Service and Secretary to Cabinet, penned. Bigirimana confirmed the development, describing it as trust and confidence for the head of the state to continuously deploy him. I thank His Excellency the President for having confidence in me, and I'll perform like I have always done, he said. Now, Ugandans across the country have been advised to embrace self-help project, also known as BULLETIN, to improve villages' roads. Zephania Kiza Seninde was explaining community works initiatives to Chichuse sub-county residents in Luwero district. Take a look.
Members of Chichusa Leaders Development Association, Luwero District, have resolved to start developmental projects aimed at enabling local leaders to acquire resources that will make them stand out in their communities. The chairman, Senyomo Kiza Senende, says that once people engage in self-help work, then government will save money to work on other complex issues.
I'm urging to all residents of every village to make sure they go into Bulungi so that they can work on their roads, they can work on other activities, they can make sure they are the supervisor of their own village for the development and for the security and for all other developments which may be needed by the village.
Senator asked the village security teams to step up their surveillance in order to curb livestock thefts.
Worked out with Major Katamba, the person who is going all around registering the LDU. Every village out of the 41 villages we have in this sub-county, they are going to bring out 5 people so that we can write them as LDU. Those LDUs, when they come back, we are going to work out together to make sure that we curb all this situation of stealing people's property, and we are sure we are going to do that.
Village Supervisor Alice Nambule says that the main challenge in Sonyomo village is the influx of undocumented refugees, sickness and thefts.
Sickness, thefts, and they are people who, let me say, are refugees. There are many refugees in our village. Now we need more saturate in our village.
Residents Chiimba Colunerio, Rebecca Nabukalu, among others, complained of unnecessary feuds, village health team members that misplaced drugs meant for the community, and questionable night movements by residents and non-residents. Sandra Kahundagaba and Jim Kaliasubula for UBC News.
Stakeholders in the engineering industry have tasked government to consider increasing resource allocation that will enable them promote more innovations in the country. This is as stakeholders engage engineering students across Uganda into dialogues to end lightning that has taken a new twist in killing innocent Ugandans. I beg your pardon.
Uganda Institute of Professional Engineers and the Institute of Electrical and Electronics Engineers are at the forefront of adapting technology to curb lightning and other community challenges. Engineering students across universities in Uganda have engaged in a one-day workshop to digest their mindset to make use of technology in solving community challenges like lightning.
And what lightning is, how can we avoid lightning? What are the precautions to take to mitigate lightning? And that's why we're here. And even as we talk now, there's another program going on solar.
Uganda is ranked among the top lightning most hit, with a recent attack in Bushenyi and Ruchiga districts that witnessed 5 people dead and several others injured following heavy rains. The Vice President, Uganda Institute of Professional Engineers, Engineer Dr. Mark Rubarenzia, says engineers have a task to make use of technology to develop innovations geared at anti-lightning to save Ugandans.
So it's not always important that government support should be financial or should come in terms of, we just need to have, for instance, the right policy framework. We need to have the right regulatory framework, because why should people, for instance, open schools or hospitals and there's no provision for lightning, no lightning conductors?
Engineers in the construction sector have also been tasked to consider installing anti-lightning equipment along with the buildings that mushroom in the country.
So with that, such challenges, we thought that as engineers, it is imperative that you come up with a solution that can actually contribute to its curbing.
Lightning is a giant discharge of electricity accompanied by a brilliant flash of light and loud crack of thunder. It is normally witnessed during heavy rains. Daniel Mugoya reporting.
All Saints Cathedral, Nakasero, in conjunction with Medical Hospital, have organized the medical camp as one of the events of Mission Week. The medical camp held at Constitutional Square grounds in Kampala district. Over 2,000 people received free medication from this very service. Now, the mission coordinator, Reverend Moses Ayembisiwe, says this is one of the ways through which the church preached the gospel to Christians, and he urged Christians to always go for medical checkups to enable them know their status.
Over 2,000 people in and around Kampala have received free medication. Held at Constitutional Square grounds, the camp, which was organized by All Saints Cathedral, Nakasero. Reverend Moses Ayembisiwe, the mission coordinator of All Saints Cathedral, says this medication has come in the right time to those in need of help, and he urged Christians to embrace the camp.
We want to praise the Lord that we have reached many people on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. There are so many people who need help, they don't have money, and they need this treatment. And as we do treatment, we also have the team that shares with them the word of God. And so we pray that this season and our mission week will be fruitful and they will gain a lot.
Dr. Lydia Sendagara from Mengo Hospital says the situation is alarming because of many people came without knowing their health status, which requires immediate attention. She urged people to always go for medical checkups to help them know their health status in time to acquire quick medication.
Amira eddagala namala n'agenda abuuza ku mukwano gwe bannange lino eddagala nga ndimizo emyaka naye nga siwona kati kandireke kati agenda oddireka pressure eyongera n'erinnyira ddala.
The beneficiaries in this medical camp have this to say.
I managed to explain my problems, my dental problems to the doctors, and they were able to try to examine me and give me the appropriate advice, and they happened to advise me that the rest I could have removed, but there's a particular one they really filled it, and I really appreciated it, because otherwise they told me that the decay was going to proceed.
HIV/AIDS, diabetes, pressure, dental problems were among the diseases which were treated in this camp. I'm Namamode Deborah, reporting for UBC.
Embracing education and good health services dominated the message during the prayers to mark 26 years of Kabaka Mwenda Mutebi II at Chibuli Mosque. Now, the Juma prayers that were held by the Secretary General of Chibuli Juma Mosque, Chigozi Sentabule, was attended by hundreds of Muslims, including politicians.
Muslims across the country have dedicated Juma prayers to the King of Buganda. Chibuli Muslim Mosque was packed to capacity as Muslims, including politicians, converged to pray for the Kabaka Ronald Mwenda Mutebi's 26th years on the throne. The Juma prayers at Chibuli Mosque were led by the Secretary General Chigozi Setiabule. Setiabule reminded the gathering to always embrace togetherness to keep the spirit of Buganda and Uganda moving ahead.
Bayinza okugamba nti abantu abaganda bwebalaba bebakola ekintu bwe kityo era nga Kabaka musaale mu kubeera nti akulembera ekintu ekyo okukuma kalicha y'Abaganda tubeere nga tumanyika mu bantu. Abantu basaanawo batabeera ne kalicha.
So ekitibwa n'ettendo bidda eri Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala yakisobosezza ekyo okubeerawo ate ne Ssaabasajja tumwebaza okulamula obulungi Obuganda ayise mayengo mangi myaka 26.
After the Juma prayers, the Supreme Mufti of Uganda, Sheikh Sulaiman Dirangwa, led the separate dua for the King of Buganda, Ronald Mwenda Mutebi II.
Jakabaka omwobulamu obulungi, omwobuwangazi obulungi, omwemirembe mu nsi, omutaasi ababi ab'okumpi n'ewala, abenge, ab'amaaso amabi n'ab'ensaalwa.
Delivering the speech on behalf of the Katikkiro of Buganda, the Speaker of Buganda Luchiko, Patrick Luwaga Mugombole, tasked the listeners to prioritize education and also consider promoting the talents among the youth.
Bibituwa obukugu obwetaagisa mu mulembe guno gwe tulimu. Mu kusomesa abaana tusaana okubawa ekyanya okutumbula ebitone byabwe n'okubajjamu okulowoolezanga mu mirimo egya woofiisi gyokka.
Kabaka Ronald Mwenda Mutebi II will celebrate his 26th years on Buganda throne on 31st July 2019 at Kumba University. Daniel Mugoya reporting.
In Buganda Palace at Mengo Hills exists the relics that acted as a torture chamber for the former regimes of Idi Amin and Obote II. Now the Nogo area during that times now acts as tourism attraction and generates income for Buganda Kingdom. Take a look.
Inside the Kabaka's Palace in Mengo is the torture chamber of Idi Amin Dada that hosted an armory for the former regimes. The bushy environment around creates an horror, a true signal of the torture chamber. Inside are 5 prison-like rooms used by Idi Amin and Obote for atrocities against people that opposed their regimes.
The place, it had water, and the water was electrified. It had a gate, to make sure no one escapes. And most of the people killed in this place were got within Kampala city. The business center and the suburbs. They used to blindfold them, throw them in the car boots, the saloon cars in their boots, drove them around Kampala for 6 to 7 hours to confuse them. And reaching here, people were already hopeless. So they would use the electrified water in order to extract information out of them. One would switch on and off electricity for a few seconds. Of course, many people died in water. And those who survived, they were put, that was like phase 1. Then they were put in the rooms. Inside we have got 5 rooms which worked as cells. And they used to pack. They used to put men in each room. Eventually they were suffocated and starved to death.
Despite the dilapidated structure, the strong paint is full of markings that express feelings of those who lost their loved ones.
There are lots of writings, like at the extreme end, some are right from the prisoners. Someone wrote that Obote onzise naye abana bange, meaning that now that you have killed me, Obote, then what about my children?
The atrocities against people by Amin and Obote too happened between 1973 and 1979.
It was very sad and very intense. The fact that they would have more than 100 people inside and it's dark and people would die here, that's heavy.
The fact that this place has been kept to remind Ugandans that torture does exist and it is not really necessary.
Fred Ndaula, a tour guide with the Buganda Tourism and Heritage Board, says the chambers initially were an armory constructed by the Israelis under the directive of Idi Amin in 1971. However, when Amin got intelligence that Obote wanted to overthrow him, he turned the armory into torture chambers.
19,000 people in a period of 7 years. In 1980, when Obote came back for the second time, he was told about Idi's behaviors. He also revenged and killed more than 6,000 Idi supporters in the same place. So altogether, Idi Amin and Obote, it is estimated that they killed over 25,000 people in here.
This is Idi Amin torture chamber in Lubiri, and where I'm standing right now on this ground, we are told they would put electrified water where they would push people and extract information from them. And when those people fail to give them the information, they would put them in these 5 rooms you see. And we are told more than 100 people were put in each room. Some of them suffocated and died, and their bodies were dumped in lakes and rivers. This is one of the bones of those people that died in this room. The chamber is one of the most preferred tourist attractions in the Buganda Kingdom.
It's part of the history of your country, of Uganda. Huh? You cannot forget this. You may never forget these things. Huh? And you have to learn about these things for the future.
Bernard Yiga, UBC TV, Kampala.
Thank you, Benajiga, for that wonderful insight on the torture chambers in Mengo. Now, moving on, the Anti-Corruption Court has charged 5 of the 8 equal opportunity case suspects accused of stealing tens of millions of shillings between October 2018 and January of this year. Anti-Corruption Court Grade 1 Magistrate Actor Simwe charged the 5 suspects with 21 accounts, all relating to embezzlement of funds, causing financial loss to government, conspiracy to defraud and abuse of office, before releasing them on bail until the 26th day of the next month.
Friday afternoon was a dark moment for 5 employees of Equal Opportunities Commission as they were arraigned before the Anti-Corruption Court on allegations of stealing company money. Agnes Kamahoro, a senior personal secretary, and Mujuni Mpitsi, a secretary to the Equal Opportunities Commission, are jointly charged with 6 counts, while the other 3, Mugabe Moses, a senior monitoring and evaluation officer, Kwehangana Manasseh, a senior compliance officer, and Kwesigaroni, an acting accounts assistant, have 3 counts hovering over their heads.
And approved payment of 19,723,000 purportedly for development of the first and second drafts of Equal Opportunities Commission HIV/AIDS workplace policy, knowing or having reason to believe that your acts will cause a financial loss of that sum of money to your employer.
It is alleged that Agnes Kamahoro, Olo Sand Nicholas, who was absent in court, and Mujuni Mpitsi sometime in December last year, requisitioned, forwarded and approved 19,277,000 purportedly for a sensitization program on equity and rights issues in lower local governments. Mugabe Moses, together with Mujuni Mpitsi, are said to have irregularly approved payment of 29 million shillings purportedly for a sensitization program in Karamoja sub-region, an event that never happened. However, appearing before Grade 1 Magistrate Abat Asimwe, all the 5 suspects pleaded not guilty before seeking court to release them on bail. 4 of the suspects presented their sureties with Ronnie Kwesiga, who had no legal representation, managing to convince court to decide in their favor.
The accused shall surrender their original copies of passport to court on next adjournment, or if present, they can surrender them now. Sureties with some few missing documents. Are ordered to present them on the next agenda.
The presiding magistrate issued a 4 million cash bail to Agnes Kamahoro and Mujuni Mpitsi each, while the other 3 were ordered to pay 2.5 million shillings each, yet their sureties 30 million shillings each, non-cash. This was after prosecution unsuccessfully argued against their bail as inquiries of the matter are still ongoing and that some sureties were not substantial enough. All the 5 suspects are expected to report back to court on the 26th of August 2019 for mention of their case. Prosecution alleges that between October 2018 and January this year, 8 employees of Equal Opportunities Commission embezzled, conspired to defraud and abuse their offices, thereby causing government financial loss in millions of shillings. Dorcas Kimono and Sudat Kaye, UBC TV News.
UBC News Tonight will continue after a short commercial break.
Every dream has a challenging journey. Ours began in 1998 with a mission to drive the development of a robust communications sector in Uganda. We created structures to champion the dream. We've evolved, made discoveries, supported great minds, empowered Ugandans, and fostered a vibrant culture, enabling communication for all. Down the years, we've created memories and networks, uniting generations and building great partnerships. Together, we can go even further. UCC, celebrating 20 years of achievements.
Have you completed Senior 4 or Senior 6 and you want to do a 2-year certificate or a diploma course? Makerere Institute for Social Development, an affiliate to Makerere Business School, offers programs in accounting and finance, business administration, procurement and supplies management, social work and social administration, information technology, counseling and guidance, human resource, project planning and management, journalism, secretarial studies, and many others. We are located on Sa Apollo Kegwa Road, next to Oilcom Petrol Station, with a UBTEP Center number.
Nabubi yazimba kumutya muwanvu enkuba yatonya nabubi yakwa
Ekyama kya Busoga kikino nga ni Kagulu Rock nkola olusozi olw'ekagulu mu igombola ly'ekagulu mu district ey'Ebuyende. Ida tuninira olusozi olw'ekagulu ni President wa Uganda Yoweri Kaguta Museveni ng'akyazibwa Isaife ky'abazinga wa Busoga William Wilberforce Kadumbula Gabula Nalyopo wokuna ni Speaker wa Parliament Mama Rebecca Itwala Kadaga era ng'empiya bukalina obuteereyi bwawo obw'okuwangulibwa abonabonaba nga banina olusozi luno baalutuuka ku ntwiko oyita kuba ng'osobola okubona Busoga okuva yava okutuuka yakanga olengera ebibira olengera ensozi edindi agayanda n'omwiga kiro okusinga obuwanvu munsi yonayona Kagulu nkola olusozi lwa byafaayo ng'omusoga eyasooka yava ebunolo wano ni we yatuukira oyita abona empukumu yasulanga niwe yalibiranga enimiro de nga bino byonna bya bwereere abantu okuva ebule n'ebweya bali kwekonda okuyida okubaawo okunina olusozi luno weenaba omu kwabo.
Bino byonna byakubaawo olwamu kagangena ku omwezi 17 omwezi ogw'omunaana omwaka 2019.
Empakedde okunina olusozi Kagulu dikutuusibwaku Ministry y'ebyobulambuzi n'ebyeyira mu bwakyabazinga bwa Busoga kyateebwamu empiya
President w'Iwanga Uganda Tourism Board, Uganda Wildlife Authority, Sanctuary Hotels Kamuli, UBC TV, Madvan Group of Companies, Big Fair awalala
Hill water, purity, nothing less.
Everyone has a chance. 1xBet.
You're still watching UBC News Tonight. In our business stories, Kampala fast flyover from Clock Tower to Kitgum House. Construction works have started with the National Roads Authority, clearing the gazetted areas of Kampala's glamour. Now, construction works of the Kampala flyover was launched early this year by President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni and Nippon Koei Company Limited, who are actually the contractors awarded for the construction works.
Construction of Kampala flyover from Clock Tower to Kitgum House has started with the National Roads Authority clearing the areas of the construction works. Nippon Koei Company Limited is to undertake the construction of the road expected to decongest traffic within Kampala city. By press time, tractors and graders of UNRA were seen clearing the gazetted areas of the road that was launched early this year by President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni. The head enforcement UNRA, John Sejemba, says government through the authority has fully compensated all those whose properties are going to be destroyed.
People who occupied this place, all the owners, were compensated. Some time back, they were given notices, and those notices expired. We again engaged with them, one-on-one, person-to-person, and we prepared them for this exercise.
Sejemba, however, encouraged the general public, especially those living and working near the construction sites, to comply with the contractors, this to enable the project completed as per contract over a period of 2 years. We interviewed some of the people slated for eviction. Report compiled by Salon Kasvante in Kampala.
It's an exciting time in the aviation industry in Uganda, with stakeholders jostling for necessary requirements suitable for domestic and international flights. As Sandra Kahunde reports, Pangea Aviation Academic Agency Flying School is providing scholarship opportunities for the one Ugandan to obtain their private pilot's license. The scholarship will provide for tuition associated with gaining your coveted private pilot's license.
Pangea Aviation Academy Agency Flying School is providing scholarships to Ugandan students willing to take up aviation studies. The successful students will have all expenses paid for by the Kajansi Best Academy. The academy comes at a time when Uganda has just reinvigorated its aviation industry.
Scholarship opportunity for one Ugandan to obtain their private pilot license. The scholarship will provide for all of the tuition fees required and associated to gain your coveted private pilot license. To apply and win this opportunity, we ask for only a few things. We ask that you go to our Facebook page, facebook.com/Pangea Aviation Academy, and become a follower of our page and follow the instructions on the post to compete in this competition. Go to our Instagram page and follow the instructions at Pangea Aviation Academy 1. The monetary value of the opportunity is over $13,000 or over 45 million shillings. It won't be provided in a monetary alternative, because this is here to give people skills to start a career in a very good industry.
At least 25 graduates are now captains after being awarded private pilot licenses from Pangea Aviation Academy Kajansi Flying School. This is equivalent to a diploma.
Our graduates eventually get their commercial pilot license, which takes a further year after this 4 to 6 month study. They will have opportunities here in Uganda to become professional pilots. Now, our group of companies is one of the largest group of aviation companies within the country. So we have the training academy, we have our maintenance organization, but we also operate 2 commercial airlines. So the reality is there for these pilots that train through our academy to become pilots one day in our company, which would allow them to get vast experience flying in conditions locally in Uganda and regionally, which would then allow them to go onto bigger aircraft and potentially be pilots for the national airline in the future once they've got that level of experience required for the bigger jets. So this is truly an opportunity to take someone, what we call in the industry, from zero all the way through to hero. This person that wins this might one day be flying the national airline.
The application period will close on the 31st August 2019, and the winner will be announced soon after the scrutiny on their Facebook page, of which the winner being Ugandan between 17 and 25 years. Sandra Kahunda-Gaba, UBC Business.
Thank you, Sandra Kahunda, for that report. Moving on in more news, failures in mathematics have been attributed to wrong methodology of teaching, which does not involve creativity and innovation. The Deputy Lord Mayor, Hajat Sarah Kanyike, expressed the need for teachers to conduct classes outside buildings and give chance to students to brainstorm. She was officiating the opening of the 41st National Mathematics Teachers Conference in Makerere University today.
Learners can attain the 21st century skills if teachers change the method of teaching from imparting content, teach students to cram, but be innovative and bring on board applied methods. Mathematics teachers should also stop assuming that learners understand, because each one of them has different abilities and require different approach.
We should get out of that classroom. You move out. You go to the outside classroom, but at the same time you are teaching. We need to involve the learners. We need to be creative. We need to brainstorm. One speaker here said we should be ready to learn from these learners. At times we undermine these learners, not knowing that we are able to learn something from them.
During the 41st National Mathematics Teachers Conference, teachers have been equipped with skills of creative and innovative teaching in mathematics subject.
Being creative when I'm teaching, I'm in applied mathematics, so we have already been creative, but we also have to be student-centered, not teacher-centered.
Interacting with the children, not looking at them as students, not looking at them as people who don't know anything. We need to share, because we need to teach from known to unknown.
Equipping students with innovative skills in mathematics is hindered by inadequate equipment and incompetency by the teachers.
The problem why children are failing is not because they are naturally stupid or they are naturally stubborn, but just because sometimes teachers fail to make them use their environment and to make their lessons practical.
The practical teaching of mathematics subject will fit well into the reviewed lower secondary curriculum, which is activity-based.
Government is now trying to come up with a new curriculum which is activity-based. The activity-based learning involves the learner, and the teacher has to be very creative in his or her methodology.
Through this training, teachers are to understand the learners more through engaging them, being happy, tolerant and harmonious, hence development. I'm Nafka Farida, reporting in Makerere.
Brought to you by Bet with 1xBet.
In our sports story, Rachel Zena has dominated day one of the National Track and Field Championship at Mandela National Stadium, Nambole. Zena was supreme in the women's 10,000 meter final, in which he also attained the qualification mark for the All-Africa Games to be hosted in Morocco next month. Others that earned slots at the All-Africa Games at Chemos Viola, Emily Chebet, Doreen Chemtai and Rebecca Cheptegei. Now, there was action in many other disciplines, including the 400 meters final, in which Halima Nakai was within the All-Africa Games qualification range. Uganda Athletics Federation official Aplo Musherure lauds the quality exhibited on day one and expects better on the closing day on Saturday this week. This National Track and Field Championship is the final calendar event for Uganda Athletics Federation, whose 2019 edition has attracted foreign entries from Burundi, Sudan and Kenya. Arinitwe Rugendo has bounced back as FUFA Super League board chairperson. This was during elections presided over by Yusuf Awuye at Mandela National Stadium, Nambole.
Rugendo, chair. Chibazo, vice.
The entire FUFA Super League board has been re-elected during the board's elections hosted at Mandela National Stadium, Nambole. The board, whose main mandate is to run the StarTimes Uganda Premier League, has Arinitwe Rugendo as chairperson, deputized by David Serebe, while Patrick Guy Kauma, Peter Kibazo and Hafre Mandu are members.
We have even asked some of the clubs that have strange names to adopt community names so that then communities, ordinary people own these clubs. The sky is the limit. So we're going to concentrate mainly on making sure that we have so much resources, because it's very difficult to run a club.
The new board will, unlike in the past, serve 4 years, and this, they say, will help consolidate gains and build further success to enable the sport grow.
You cannot have a strong league without money. And so that's what we set out to. And I'm very confident that we have now built that. It takes a long journey. I remember, actually, we were only given one term. But at the end of 1 year, we had nothing that we had done, because we were trying to understand exactly where do we start and where do we end. So the team suggested that going forward, let's do away with a 1 year term and increase it 2 years and eventually 4 years. So we were able to achieve all that. And now, going forward, that we have a product, we're now going to concentrate on promoting that product.
The board has been elected by 13 Super Division clubs. The 3 newly promoted clubs, Wakiso Giants, Chetume and Proline, weren't eligible to vote because they are yet to be confirmed by the FUFA annual general meeting. John Ban, Centum, reporting.
Brought to you by Bet with 1xBet.
That's all we had for you tonight. Before we sign out, we'll take a look at the headlines. President Museveni launches Mbara Roads. Construction of Kampala flyover begins. In more news, Rachel Zina impressive into 10,000 meters. U.S. government death penalty move draws criticism.